the Vancouver Canucks have a franchise-altering decision to make at third overall, and frankly, history is not on their side. Ryan Johnson says the plan is process and patience, but with a Swedish winger putting up the best numbers since the Sedins on one hand and a rising two-way center on the other, we're about to find out if this regime is actually different or if the Canucks are about to outthink themselves once again. Today, we're breaking down the Stenberg versus MALHOTRA dilemma and why the San Jose Sharks might be about to force Vancouver into a massive draft day gamble. Let's dive right into it. So we're going to take a look at an article from our friends over at Canucks Army where they specifically talk about this. And it says right here, just from the title, Canucks best player available draft strategy will be put to the test if Ivar Stenberg falls to number 3. Of course, we have already talked about that potential being, happening on this channel, and we're going to dive into it a little bit again. This article written by Jeffrey Kennett, he goes on to say the Vancouver Canucks have spent the opening days of Ryan Johnson's tenure emphasizing process, alignment, and patience. But the third overall pick may offer the first real test of how firmly they intend to stick to those principles. Gavin McKenna is widely expected to be gone by then. After that, there's far less predictability. San Jose could very easily take Swedish winger Ivar Stenberg at number 2, but as we've talked about already on this channel, if the Sharks chase one of the class's high-end defensemen instead to complement their dynamic forward crop, Vancouver's best player available strategy could get complicated in a hurry. Earlier this week, when asked how those conversations have played out with Vancouver's scouting staff, Johnson described the club's philosophy as a balance between best player available and organizational need. Originally, through the list, they are targeting what they think the best player available would be in that slot, said Johnson. Something we discuss organizationally are their needs or areas of intrigue from a certain player type. Those are things we'll still be talking about as we head towards the end of June. The answer, of course, is important because if the Sharks do in fact pick right-handed defenseman Chase Reed or any of the other defensemen at second overall, as many pundits are suggesting, Stenberg would arguably be the cleanest best player available once Vancouver is on the clock. If not Reed, the Sharks would still have their pick of projected top pairing defensemen, including Carson Karels or Keaton Vierhoff. Stenberg has built one of the strongest draft year profiles in the class. The 18-year-old Frölunda winger tallied 33 points in 43 SHL games this season, the most by an 18-year-old in Sweden's top league since Daniel and Henrik Sedin in 1998-1999. He also added 10 points in 7 games while helping Sweden win gold at the World Juniors. His pre-draft resume may not have carried the same hype as some of the other class's top names, but that kind of production in a draft-eligible season is, of course, very difficult to overlook. There is a reason Stenberg was the main challenger to McKenna at the top of the draft throughout the season. He may not have the Canadian Phenom's pure offensive electricity, but his skill could translate to a top 6 role in the NHL as soon as next season. In a draft where the top 5 could swing based on positional preference, Stenberg is the type of player who could punish teams for overthinking their selections. Canuck fans, we have seen this movie before. Vancouver targeted Olli Juolevi in 2016 while trying to replenish its blue line, selected Danila Klimovich in the second round while Logan Stankoven was still available, and more recently took Tom Willander when the organization needed a right shot defender. Those examples can be accused of cherry picking, but they speak to a larger frustration that has followed multiple Canucks regimes. Too often, the organization has tried to outthink the board with high-end hockey talent still sitting there. That makes the growing noise around Caleb MALHOTRA slightly concerning. One of the most compelling names connected to Vancouver approaching the draft, MALHOTRA will be heavily discussed in the market over the coming weeks. We've, of course, talked about him so much on this channel. He plays center, brings a mature two-way game, finished his OHL season with the kind of playoff run that has him rocketing up draft boards. Daily Faceoff's post-lottery mock had the Canucks, of course, taking Malhotra third overall, despite framing Stenberg as the near consensus best player available option for Vancouver if a defenseman were to go second. Malhotra's late season surge with Brantford and his stronger positional fit were cited as the swaying factors for the Daily Faceoff's post-lottery mock draft. The Canucks' decision in that circumstance comes down to whether Malhotra's profile as a center outweighs the possibility of a higher ceiling winger falling into their lap. It's no secret the Canucks badly need centers. They also need young defensemen. They quite honestly need prospect depth and high-end talent at nearly every position, including on the wing. A rebuild of this scale should not be shaped by one positional hole, especially with Johnson repeatedly emphasizing draft and develop patience. The number 3 pick must be viewed as a long-term cornerstone, not a short-term roster patch, particularly if Malhotra will still require 1 or maybe 2 seasons of development at Boston University. Johnson also hinted that the top of this draft may not unfold as predicted. My gut feeling tells me we should be prepared for anything, Johnson said. I don't think it will go as scripted, and that's not my knowledge. I think it's just one of those years where it may fall out of the typical order. So that is an interesting note to make of Johnson saying there. That uncertainty works, of course, both ways. It could mean Stenberg is gone before Vancouver picks. It could mean the Canucks have a defenseman higher than the public rankings would suggest. It could also mean the team has internally zeroed in on Malhotra, which is currently the rumor when it comes to Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin. Apparently, Malhotra has been their guy all along, and now that Rutherford and Allvin are gone, is that still the case when it comes to the Sedins and Ryan Johnson? Do they have someone else in mind? But if Stenberg is sitting there at number 3, Vancouver's stated approach becomes much harder to hide behind. Johnson said the Canucks know they are going to get a really good hockey player in that spot. The question is whether they take the one who best matches the depth chart or the one with the highest potential as a hockey player. As the franchise tries to reset its standards, this is the kind of decision that could reveal a lot about this regime's team-building philosophy and just how much Vancouver trusts its own process. So, that is the article. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Of course, we've even heard guys like Craig Button saying, when it comes to comparing both Stenberg and Malhotra, that Craig Button is the one saying that Caleb Malhotra is just as good as Ivar Stenberg. His words, not mine. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comment section down below. And of course, as always, a big shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this video, none other than DraftKings Sportsbook, which is of course an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best players in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warriors turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Bet player props, bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn. Every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks and draft related content. You can also become a member to receive exclusive perks and members-only videos, including early access to videos such as this one. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.